It's Big Board Sports with Roger Wyland on 104.5 The Team.
We talk high school football all season long here with Big Game James Allen. Final Friday night. The point you made in your top 5 points in the Times Union high school football, 5 things to watch. Love the guts. And how about this, Zachary? I don't know if you caught this last week, but Stillwater coach Ian Godfrey going for a 2-point conversion down to Mechanicville 28-27 in overtime last week. And he goes for 2. The Warriors converted, and they won the Indian Bowl. And Big Game says that's the kind of courage is commendable, especially coming from a first-year coach. And I'm watching him going, no, he's going for 2. If he doesn't get this, they're going to lose the game.
Little Jack Del Rio.
Oh, man, Big Game. That was good stuff last weekend.
It really was, Roger. And, here's the thing. He's a first-year coach. Both coaches involved in the game are first-year coaches, and they were on the staffs before. But this is the first time they're running the show, and community involvement in that game is pretty much as big as you're going to get in any high school sporting event you're going to have throughout the year. I mean, it's a big doings. I mean, they're right next to each other. It's bragging rights. Sometimes you have cousins versus cousins in this game. Communities are really involved in this game, and now you go for it and you don't get it. I mean, you're going to be second guessed for the entire year. But they had this trick play that they had worked on. They have basically the quarterback goes in motion, comes down the line looking to run the option to the left and pitches it in a reverse fashion to the freshman backup quarterback who played safety throughout the game, but I didn't see him warm up on the sidelines at all. So he didn't throw the ball at all, and then they'll execute a throw like that, and for the 2-point conversion, it's a big deal. And you realize his defense was worn down. They had given up 21 points in the second half to Mechanicville, and their big offensive line had really taken a toll. And he just said, "Look, we got to get this game over with. We don't want to play another 1 or 2 overtimes. It's just asking a lot from a lot of guys." And he thought that play was going to work, and you gotta love it.
Yeah,
if you're a football fan, you gotta love the gusto of going for it and being able to execute it.
Yeah, no doubt a gutsy call, and as you point out, especially a first-year head coach. You see a veteran guy going, you know what, I'm going to go for it. He's your first-year head coach, and he's saying, "Yep, let's sign off on this," and it certainly works.
Roger, it's easier. I mean, if you're a veteran coach and you've won sectional championships, maybe gotten to the Carry Dome, won a state championship, you got a little more cachet. But for him to pull this off, and I thought it was a great way to mark what is going to be an era between the two of those guys. It's just beginning, and it was a tremendous game.
We are in the final weekend, right? It's the final weekend of the high school football regular season.
Yeah, hard to believe. We kidded around this when we got to August that hey, it's going to fly by fast, and it does. We're right down to the end here. Some championship games tonight. Some games that teams can clinch championships. If they lose, then you have some scenarios where you're going to have 3 teams tied for the division championship, and it's going to come down to everybody's favorite, the quarter points, to decide who's going to be the number 1 seed for the particular division. But
what's the headline?
Games that are up for grabs, certainly for titles tonight, though.
Where do we stand with the Class AA ranks? Is Guilderland on top?
Guilderland is in the lead because they're the undefeated team. CBA's Empire Division schedule, Roger, is finished. They're done. They're playing LaSalle tonight for the Sabre, but that game has no implications in terms of their division. They're done at 5-1. So if Guilderland beats Shen, they win the division. If they lose and Shen wins, you have a 3-way tie atop the division standings at 5-1, and they will all be 1-1 against each other. So it would come down to quarter points. The good thing from Guilderland's perspective is if they can win a quarter, they'd be ahead after 1 quarter, or if they're ahead at halftime, or they're ahead going into the fourth quarter. That's going to be enough for them to be the number 1 seed because they only need half a point to tie CBA, and they need a full point to outdo them. CBA can't gain any more quarter points because they've finished their division schedule. So Shen, in order to have any chance, would have to win every quarter, win the game, and then they would still be tied with Gilliland, and CBA would actually get in. So the scenarios are pretty much there. Gilliland takes care of business. It's over and done with.
Yeah, and they've been taking care of business all year. Man, I think Dan Penna has a really good team and certainly a really, really good offense, and I would expect them to win tonight, to be honest with you.
Well, the way they played, I mean, the form that they showed, especially last week in CBA, you'd like to think that they wouldn't get to week 7 and then suddenly have a stinker, but it's high school football. You never know. You'd like to think that they would be motivated to win the division in a profound fashion by going undefeated, and certainly Shen's knows what's at stake and knows that they want to get a better seed than what they have right now to win the game, pull the upset.
We talk high school football all season long here with Big Game James Allen. Final Friday night. Playoffs are set to go. Big game with the Times Union. And I got to ask you about the Rhineford Division title. Hudson is 6-0. They're ranked 11th in the Class B poll. They travel to Chaumont. 4-2 overall, 4-0 in the division. Rhineford title up for grabs. How good of a football game is Hudson and Chaumont going to be tonight?
I think it's going to be one of the better ones, Roger. It could well be the best one, of the night. It really has the makings. Hudson has not enjoyed a lot of success, really in the last 10 years. They got to the 06 Class B title game against Deion Lewis and Albany Academy, and you know what happened. The Academy got to the state final and beat Hudson very, very handily in that game. But Hudson pulled off one of the biggest upsets in Section 2 playoff history in 08. They were 2-5 that year, Roger, and they lost to Chaumont 36-6 in week 2 that year. That was the first year or last year before Joe Whipple took over and Mike DeCoco was the coach. They went into the playoffs 7-0. They were at home, and they lost to Hudson who had a 2-5 record, 13-12 in the quarterfinals, and that's the last time that Hudson beaten them. They played 5 times since. None of the games have been close. One of the games 2 years ago was 76-6. So Chaumont's had their way with them, and if they want to continue to be a top contender going to the playoffs, which the loser's going to be no worse than the number 2 seed. Hudson's had a great year. They deserve to be where they are. A couple of tough wins, or certainly the first win, they outgained Johnstown by almost 300 yards, only won 19-18. But they pulled it off. They beat Ravine in week 3, and they've got some weapons. They've got some really outstanding players. A lot of people remember their basketball team last year. Well, some of their top basketball players that are back this year are their top football players. Mike Alert, Willie Walker, the quarterback, and Khadidrick Murphy is one of the big linemen. He's their starting center at 6'8" on the basketball court. He's one of their starting linemen on the football field. Should be a good game.
Big game. Have a great night out there. Should be a lot of fun. We'll, of course, have highlights on News Channel 13 live at 11. We have Chris Honorado and Ashley Miller double teaming it. Co-anchors at 11:25 tonight. I will be watching on my phone from Maine. Orono, checking that out tonight. And, of course, read all about the high school football in the Times Union tomorrow morning as well. Big game. You got Averill Park and Lansingburg Time Warner cable game of the week,
should be
right?
A good one, Roger. Averill Park's best year since 05 when they got to the Class A final and lost to Amsterdam. Amsterdam won the state championship that year with T.J. Sesky leading the way, and Warriors haven't won a division title since then, and if they win tonight against Berg, they will do so. If Berg wins, we got a 3-way tie for the Southeast with Burnt Hills and Berg and Averill Park, and Averill Park does have the quarter point lead, and I would expect even if they did lose, they'd win the number 1 seed anyway. But I think the Warriors want to close it out and win their 6th straight game on the road here tonight against Berg.
Big game. Thanks for a few minutes on the Friday show, as always, here on Big Board Sports.
You got it, Roger. Take care.
James Allen, high school sports scene, high school football final Friday night already.